Yeah, the whole thing, that folder, that really cool folder came up.
How much pressure? Natural pressure?
Normally about 5. Yeah, I got some good well. Marcus did it.
That's a good thing. Okay. Good evening. Welcome to the Town of Orange Park Town Council meeting Tuesday, February 3rd, 2026 at 7 p.m. Town Clerk, please take a roll call.
Mayor Anderson,
Here.
Councilman Benefield,
Here.
Councilman Taylor,
Present.
Vice Mayor Stanley. Here. Councilman Vogel,
Present.
all present.
Okay, please stand for the invocation and pledge allegiance. Heavenly Father, we gather today with grateful hearts for the opportunity to serve our community. Grant us wisdom to see clearly, courage to act justly, and compassion to listen with understanding. May other words be respectful, our decisions be fair, and our actions reflect integrity and care for all. Guide us to work together in unity, setting aside personal interests for the greater good. God bless our community with peace. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to agenda item number 3, mayor comments. All I ask is shop local. As we all know, times are hard for everyone, and it's very important we spend our money locally and keep our businesses open. If you cannot spend locally, spend it in our county. Thank you very much. Okay, we can move on to item 4, presentations. We got a stormwater report, and that will be the Public Works Department.
Mr. Mayor and Council, Kyle Croce, Public Works Department. In accordance with our municipal stormwater permit, we present a summary of the work that we're doing and a status of the work upcoming. So I usually brief in January or February about that. So I've presented a handout for all of you, and I'll just go through that so we can be in compliance. So this is the presentation, just from our background, that the town has the stormwater infrastructure that's aging, but we're working on improvements. 129,000 linear feet of stormwater pipe, 1,165 stormwater structures, and 7 miles of waterway. Operations include maintaining the ditches, repairing stormwater pipes, clearing open drainage ways, clearing the grade inlets and other structures, and allowing that stormwater to flow. Currently, we have 1 lead stormwater equipment operator and 4 stormwater equipment operators under that crew leader. Major CIP stormwater projects we have are the Johnson Slough Roadway Culvert and Improvements Project, and that is at 90% design and is in permitting. The Chablis West Culvert Replacement Project, that was completed during the summer. The improvements and stabilization to the Milwaukee sidewalk was completed. So it wasn't just a sidewalk and boardwalk project. We had significant improvements to the side slope stabilization on that waterway. And then the St. Francis outfall pipe, clearing and removing debris in that in that system so we can reduce the amount of flooding that occurs. Some major stormwater maintenance operations for our crew includes Laurel Grove Lane, the roadway inlet culverts that were repaired. The Dudley Branch, Johnson Slough, south of Kingsley to Doctors Lake and St. Johns River, clearing and maintaining. The Bel Air neighborhood and Gano Avenue Clay County connection, where we work with the county on our outfall structures and waterway to move it away and north of town. The middle school drainage ditch includes improvements to the Lee Stan, Genmar, Rodan, Larhaz roadways. The Holly Point East culverts along the roadside inlets and the swales going out into the river. We had a lot of improvements to those structures as well this year and have made significant milestones on improvements on that section of the roadway or the stormwater. Dudley Branch to Winfred to Clare Lane maintenance includes, and that's ongoing. It's a low-lying area and wetland area that we need to maintain so that the stormwater flows positively outward. The storm structure inspections and cleaning are ongoing. The town is broken up into sectors by our stormwater lead, and the guys go out there and clean the inlets and inspect them and take pictures for our reporting. Our vulnerability assessment was completed, our design was completed, and the company and engineering group listed a number of projects to be coming forward in the near future, including the Johnson Slough culvert replacement project, San Robar and Morgan culvert headwall repairs, Shaw Pond expansion, and then the culvert replacements in the Morgan neighborhoods, Ash Street and Winfred and Winfred and River Road are HMGP grant projects that we're working on with the Florida Department of Emergency Management. So we have continuing work at the Gano Ditch and the Dolphin Bel Air roadway flooding. We're looking at ways to improve that and clean those old pipes. Wells and Plainfield stormwater improvements, Loring lift station resiliency for flood protection. The compound for the Public Works Department master plan is in design right now. And then we have an emergency generator purchase and installation program for our lift stations. We also do street sweeping throughout the town, and we record the tonnage. We don't have the tonnage for 2025. 2024 was 336 tons, but we also report that for our municipal stormwater permit. I've included a couple of pictures that show where we're working, mostly the crews. Actually, it's all of our crews' in-house work that was done this past year, and wanted to provide that for the report as well. And so that's all I have.
Okay.
If there are any questions, I'm here to answer them.
Anybody have any questions for the Public Works Director?
I do.
Councilman Benefield?
Mr. Croce, the street sweeping, that's a lot of weight, 336 tons. So that's dirt, leaves, just crap in the gutters.
Yes, sir. That's so they're out there. We have a schedule weekly for each section of the town. They try and get to it and maintain that schedule as much as possible.
We're catching it. We're catching it before it gets in the pipes.
That's correct, sir.
Because the pipes probably do better if they just have water.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Done. Anybody else have anything? Councilman Vogel?
Mr. Croce, please, just very simple, please tell your men and women, thank you very much for all the work that they do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I've got two questions for you, and I know that these are old questions. Do we have any update on the Winfred culvert? I mean, it's going on 5 years, and I know government moves slow sometimes, but this is really slow.
Yeah, yes, sir. We've submitted all the design and permitting, which has been completed for almost 2 years now. And it is in the Florida Department of Emergency Management and FEMA's review and process. So we get a monthly update saying, can you please provide a quarterly report? And we do that. But there is really no status change until FEMA comes back. If there is money, they would approve the next phase, which would be construction. So we're still just waiting for FEMA and FDEM.
Okay, got it. Thank you. This is for the town manager. Can we look at reaching out to Congressman Bean's staff and see if we can get a little push from him, just to see if we can kind of get this moving? Thank you. Second thing is I see we're working on the Gano ditch up by the middle school. We're doing our part. Is the county taking care of theirs?
Yes, sir, absolutely. So there's that section that connects to the county just north where Walter Odom Park is. And yeah, we communicate with them and they do clearing. We do clearing on our side. So it's a joint effort on that section.
Okay, got it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
One more.
One more? Go ahead.
You, Mayor, you asked about Winfred.
Yes.
Are Winfred and Claire on that same schedule? Don't they both need the walls replaced?
It's actually San Robar and Morgan
San Robar and
need the
Morgan.
walls replaced.
Okay.
Claire is a maintenance issue. We may need some additional structural improvements, but it's not a replacement for the wall. It's Morgan and San Robar.
Winfred is an undersized.
Winfred is an undersized culvert, yes,
Okay,
sir.
So that's that's the whole road.
Yes, sir. Additional culvert is designed to be planned to be constructed there.
I remember being a kid that there was water over that Winfred. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You're good?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, Vice Mayor?
Excuse me, Mr. Croce, when you referred to the middle school ditch, the Great Gano drainage, and the mayor asked his questions, how often does this have to be done? Do we have to clean it out?
So we're working on an improvement with our in-house staff to try and shore up the side slopes and get less and less of that sloughing off with material going into the canal. So we're there every year and trying to do a little bit of improvement as we can.
Okay, okay. What, is it just because it's just nature and there's no way to really shore up the,
Yeah, we have,
Besides.
we've been using concrete riprap, and we've been using old curbing, so we're kind of recycling the material to shore up that side slope. When we get more, when we get the availability of our crews, we go out there and do a little bit of that at a time.
has it helped?
Yeah, absolutely. But there's still some that, as we progress through the different storms, we get debris and sediment in the trenches and the
Okay.
waterways.
All right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, thank you, Mr. Cartry. Okay, we're going to move on to item 5. I have a citizen's request, and I'll turn it over to the town manager for an update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had a request from an organization to utilize the, excuse me, my apologies.
I'll cough with you.
Yeah, for a request for a fee waiver on the rental of Town Hall Park for a community day for their organization. And the individual is here to present the request and to answer questions as need be, so.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the town manager? Before we have the citizen come up with their request? No? No? Okay. The floor is yours.
Thank you.
If you would, please give us your name.
My name is Lynn Martinez. Good evening, Mayor Randy Anderson and the honorable members of the City Council. Thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. I am here on behalf of Community Care Day 2026 in partnership with Mount Zion African Methodist Episcopal Church located at 549 Palmetto Avenue, Green Cove Springs, Florida. Matter of fact, we're 153 years this year. We're older than the town of Green Cove Springs. I am respectfully requesting your consideration to waive the park usage and associated municipal fees for our upcoming Community Care Day, tentatively scheduled for Saturday, June 6, 2026, in which we are requesting to use the Town Hall Park located at 2042 Park Avenue, Orange Park, Florida, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Also, we are fully prepared to adjust the event time as needed should another event be scheduled for June 7th. Community Care Day is a free nonprofit, community-focused outreach event created to serve seniors, families, veterans, individuals with disabilities, and residents experiencing financial or health-related challenges. Throughout Green Cove Springs and surrounding counties, in partnership with Mount Zion AME Church and local service providers, this event will offer free health screenings, social service referrals, food assistance, hygiene supplies, and supportive resources, all provided at no cost to the public. Our mission is to extend care, dignity, and access to those who may otherwise go without essential services. We are committed to hosting safe, orderly, and well-coordinated event. We will work closely with city staff, adhere to all safety and operational requirements, and ensure that the park is properly maintained and left in excellent condition following the event. Because this event is offered entirely free of charge, our funding is limited. We are a small church. We like to say we're small but mighty. But we are 153 years, so you can imagine it's a small church, but we do have some faithful members, and you know that the cost in terms of maintaining a small church with a limited or a small congregation, our funds are limited. A waiver of city fees would allow us to redirect critical funds directly into services and supplies for residents in need, thereby maximizing the community impact of this event. We believe Community Care Day aligns with the city's values of public service, health promotion, and community partnership. And we would be honored to collaborate with the Orange Park City Council to make this day a meaningful success for our residents. Thank you for your time, your leadership, and your thoughtful consideration. I am happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead.
A little more information on that testing that you're referring to, that you're going to do?
Well, we're going to have I'm working in partnership with 3 physicians who actually reached out to me. I'm a retired case manager for 33 years, so I'm kind of known in these streets for services throughout communities. And so they reached out to me, which I didn't know that doctors have to have so much community service. So they wanted to partner with me, and so we're putting together providers from dental, podiatry, heart, mental health. We're going to have a shower bus. We're going to have for children book bags. I'm partnering with so many people are jumping on board because they see exactly where we're coming from. We're hoping to have at least 700 plus. My goal is 1,000 people that day. We're even planning for 2027. That's how people who can't do it this year would do it next year. But we're going to have every entity in terms of healthcare providers. We're going to have food, which we're going to give to the public free of charge. And so people are calling who's going to cook the food. Those are going to buy the food. And I wanted a barbecue, but they're saying it's easier if we do fried chicken wings, chicken legs, the chicken and French fries, and possibly coleslaw, and give a fruit salad.
So have you done this before in Green Cove?
We've never done this in Green Cove. To be absolutely honest, because I have a passion, this has never been a career for me. It has always been a passion to help people. And so when we we're originally from New Jersey, me and my husband. And so when we joined the church in Green Cove Springs, I always asked, what is our church known for? And they said they wanted our church to be known for service. So if we're going to be known for service, we need to be able to reach the communities. Not just Green Cove, not just Orange Park, but all surrounding communities, because everybody needs help.
So is this the first time?
This will be the
Period.
first time for us. And so we're reaching out. So when we looked at the budget and we looked when we had our committee meeting, they're saying, okay, now we hear your great plan. Where's the money coming from? How are we going to do this? So I said, and then when I met with the doctors, they said, well, can't you appeal to see if you can get the fees waived? I said, I can try and see where it goes from there. I don't know. But we would love to have it. And the area here is very conducive for it because you have the traffic, so you know that people who are not aware of it will stop by. So that's why we wanted to have it here at the town hall.
As opposed to Spring Park or something like that?
Well, we are also trying to see about Vera Park at their next council meeting. But at the committee meeting, the committee members really wanted this area. I said, well, we can try.
Committee members meeting
We have, this is 6 of us on the committee,
for the
besides the
church, for
3
the Zion
doctors.
Church?
Yes.
Anybody else have any questions? Councilman Vogel?
I just, I don't know if this is probably for the town manager. What is the amount that we're looking to waive on that?
It would come to approximately $300. The park rental itself is $200, and then the increase in the, here we go. Oh, I apologize. $200 for the base, and then $50 for the event permit. So $270 for public works staff, $50 for power and water, $35 for fire inspection, if there are food trucks. So total of 605 fees. So
605.
We're only going to have one, in terms of the food, we have one vendor who's coming, a private person who's going to come and actually do the cooking for us and distribute from the truck. So we're not going to have only one food provider to be able to feed everyone. I'm in the process of getting the figures for the food at Restaurant Depot to see how much it will cost us to feed approximately 1,000 people, to be prepared for at least 1,000 to 1,500.
Yes, sir. Is this, I know when we do these, we look at, everything runs through legal and insurance and everything. Has all that been vetted through all this process?
I've submitted where we show, I guess, the $1 million, the liability insurance. But Ms. Dockery said that there will probably be additional information that we will have to provide. But I did do the first phase of that, submitted that to Ms. Dockery already.
if I may, they provided their proof of liability insurance. We have not been named as an additionally insured because we hadn't accepted that yet. So sometimes there's cost associated with that. We didn't want to infringe that unless the council decided to move forward. But that would be a requirement for, what's that? Oh, yeah, so.
But just to answer the council member's question, I have not looked at this at all.
Okay.
That's all I have right now.
I have another question. I guess, are we staying with her and then going to the town manager?
Well, we're going to work between the two here.
So for the town manager, the way I read these fees is it's $30 per person per hour, 3-hour minimum. I mean, how many is one? I can't imagine one person's enough for 1,500 people.
And are you talking about the security?
I'm talking about the whole kit and caboodle, really. I mean, that's
okay.
1,500 people.
Well, I mean, I am one of those people that when I plan something, it starts small and it kind of ends up pretty big because you say that, oh my, okay, let's try this, let's add this. But my goal, because I want it to be a success, so when you want something to be a success, you shoot for the moon. So if we get 700, that's our minimum that we're expecting. But I really want this to be an overwhelming success for our communities so everybody can have access to free whatever is needed. Because For those that don't bring their buses or their vans, they will have booths where they can take referrals so that if someone who needs extra dental, they can bring them to the office for free. And because most of the providers that that are coming will be able to refer those individuals to a nearby provider for free.
And that's very helpful, thank you. Really, I'm thinking in terms of the town manager, so on-site staff, I mean, how many on-site staff do we have for 1,000 or 1,500 people? We have nobody or one?
That would be a question for public safety at that point, but this is just to kind of give some preference on it, being that this is a request, this isn't an endorsement from my office on the project. I have multiple questions, but the request was made to present to council as far as the request. So I can express some of those concerns that I have, if you'd like. From that standpoint, from the size of the event, having the unknowns, again, also knowing with our fiscal constraints and those items, providing anything at a free service when it's supported by taxpayer dollars is something that needs to be scrutinized and looked at heavily. So again, without an endorsement from my office, an aspect of the request was made to be on the agenda to request from council, but from my office side of things, I'm hesitant to do anything at a free of charge, given the large scale liability. When you're talking 1,500 people, there's going to be more expense than the $605, and with that, inevitably with coverage and police, and is that going to need barricades? Is that going to need meridian barriers? Those type of situations. So there's a lot of unknowns that we don't have, especially without having any history with the program itself. If there is a history of the program with a different organization or whatnot, that could be helpful. Or this might be better suited for a private facility as opposed to potential exposure for the town for risk and financial outlay.
Okay. I've got a couple questions.
Yes.
First of all, is there anyone from the town of Orange Park that's supporting this event? Any businesses?
We have one physician who is in the Orange Park area.
Now, is he in the town of Orange Park?
Yes, and
Okay.
I live in Orange Park,
Got it.
Florida. And we have two of the committee members who is more instrumental because they know the communities better than I do, because I'm not really from this area, from Orange Park. But as far as this event, this will be our first event. And so to be honest, I really did not think at the time, because I'm not familiar with like all the counties and different things, that how well it was going to be received until everybody I'm getting emails, calls, telephone calls from everyone want to participate because they know the need for individuals who need the services. And we want to we want to be able to reach individuals who are hesitant about getting help about certain things, such about mental health, or even if they're going through something personal. Sometimes it takes these types of events to sort of help that individual, give them the nudge to get the help that they need.
Okay. This is for the town manager. I'm just looking at the 700 plus. I know you mentioned public safety, police officers, I would assume. Is $30 per police officer going to be enough?
I don't see how that's going to be enough. Again, that's as part of our restructuring of our fees and that aspect. So I think the estimate of 605 is pretty generous on
Okay.
efficient. So
The next question I'd have, are you going to be providing like porta potties or anything like that?
We don't have access to that. So when I initially was inquiring about this, I asked about that, and they said they do have places they can go to the bathrooms, because that was one of my questions. If that was going to be something that we would have to try to provide, because if that was, then that wouldn't be, the area wouldn't be feasible for us, because you have traffic coming through, people are gonna want to go to the bathroom.
Understand. I guess where I'm looking with this town manager, how many times does 700 people flush toilets? And then I look at, there's a cleaning fee, and we're gonna have to clean up after the fact. We have to take care of the expense of everything that's involved with it. Garbage, how are we handling garbage?
Yeah, no, these are all just basic facility questions that, again, with the size of the event being estimated, 1,500, I wasn't aware of that number at that point.
That's just a desire.
I understand,
Mr. Taylor.
but-
I mean, if we get 500 people, most people will say that's a success. But when I put on the application, I said 700 plus. And so, but I like to be a person that I'm shooting for the moon. I would love to have enough people visible people to partake of this. And that way, if we decide to do it again, which we are, then we know that the people will come.
And again, that's going to add additional stress and potential fixture that get, broken and utilized in that aspect. So again, I don't know that we have the capacity to handle that at 1,500 people potentially, even if it's, hoping at 700, but with that, you have to plan for the absolute most. And if you're saying hopefully 1,500, I'm very hesitant on our ability to support that let alone for 650. I'm guessing we'd be closer to 3,000 or 4,000.
Got it. And this is for either one of you, parking.
Yeah.
Where are we gonna park 700 people?
Okay, logistically, I am not, because like I said, I'm not privy to the area in terms, but I have come past here because my husband said, you know where it's located, you know where we gone to when they have the fairs? I said, oh, that's the place. So I do know that people park because we've parked over in those areas to walk over to utilize, to partake of the fairs when they have events here, because I am a crafter. And so I like to come to those. So we have come to those and we know that people park and walk. And I know it's probably the safety of coming across the road because of the cars are still continually coming. But we've parked further down and walked over. So I'm sure that if there was some events here previously, everybody utilized parking in other areas, in the general area. So I don't know whether we have to ask for permission for those areas. Those are logistics that I need to know.
Right.
Because if in fact the council decides and approve it, then I know there are other logistics that I have to look at in addition to the other logistics I'm already taking care of.
Okay. There is public parking around here.
Yes.
When we have our festivals, we have a MOU with Moose Haven.
Okay.
And that's probably where you're referring to,
Yes,
across the
yes.
street. That's not open all the time. So if you do not make some kind of arrangements with them, you're just going to have the public parking around here, which I'll tell you, it's not going to handle 700 people.
Yeah. Well, I don't know in terms of the events here, but a lot of people come to the events here from around, because I learned about the events happening here through people from other counties that I've worked with, and I've met them here. And so there's a lot of people, and I can rest assured that it's probably 700 or more that come through here because of there's extra vendors and different things are going on. So our event is going to be very synchronized. It's not going to be where it's if, and, or but. It's just I've contacted my husband's cousin's niece who is military. She's putting together her military base, the health, to bring to volunteer so they can come around and do whatever we need. So we have a lot of hands on deck will be here. I can't say specifically give you the names, but I am going to have 2 meetings prior to, so everybody know the logistics. We're going to have T-shirts so everybody can identify who's who. We're gonna make sure that our volunteers, be well versed on what is to happen that particular day. Because I am a person, being a supervisor for 12 of my case management years, I like a well-oiled machine. And I'm a person that, and I don't know if you can look at me and tell, that I don't have a problem speaking. And so I'm going to make sure everything is proper and in order when they come. I'm going to make sure there's no alcohol on the premises. I'm going to make sure all of those things, logistics. Now, you're saying that if possible, if the council approves it, then I have to talk to the parking. Because I said, well, was it a given they park? Is it just something no one speaks about? Is it just okay for everybody to park when these events coming? They happen. But I have been here 3 times to the events. And I can tell you, it's a lot of people show up for these events.
Right. Okay. Anybody else have any questions for her?
I have a comment.
Go ahead, Councilman Bender.
And I feel like I need more information before I can make a decision on this. That's my thought.
Now, will those questions be directed to us so we'll be able to answer them?
I think for me, it's really finance. Like, can we get a real breakdown of this is what it would cost if the town helped out and put it on? Ballpark, it's gonna be porta potties, trash, all that stuff. Is it gonna be $2,000? Is it gonna be $600?
If you start to add up just the porta potty rentals and everything else, I mean, you're going to be $3,000 to $4,000 into this.
Yeah, okay.
Because again, if you're talking 700 to 1,500 people in that aspect.
And you got 3 town staff.
Town usages, you're going to have additional town staff.
8
Typically
hours,
speaking,
9 hours a day.
typically speaking, if you had a private event, they would be, they would have to pay for the security privately. If we're going to absorb that, then again, you're going to have, $50 to $75 an hour minimum for the officers. You're going to have those situations. So it's going to escalate from 600 to substantially more than that. I don't have an exact ballpark in that manner. Again, just knowing in my previous life with previous events, it wouldn't shudder to think that we'd have $3,000 to $4,000 invested within a pretty quick amount of time.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
Have we done this before?
I do not have that, not to my knowledge, no. We've never done this event before, but I don't know how often we've had a history of providing free services or
Waiving
whatnot.
the fees for a nonprofit?
Yeah, Steve maybe can speak more on it, but people rent Town Hall Park all the time. Yes, and the only reason this is coming to you is because she's asking to waive the fees.
Okay.
Generally, this is done internally, but yeah, people rent the park.
Okay.
Question, in terms of, the first question is about, in terms of the security. Would it be, would we be able to utilize volunteer police officers that we know personally to come to be security? And if so, what would be the logistics of us doing that? The second question is in terms of the fee. I mean, I hear that it could be more depending on what we need. And my other, make this a third-part question. In terms of, I would like to know what other events who have come to have events here. And I'm sure that this not waive the fee, that you can look back previous events to know how much they actually have paid. Because if you're saying it's $600, that's a little bit of money, because I was really expecting to be between $3,000 and $4,000, to be honest. When he said 600, I kind of like said, oh, okay. But I am curious to know, when you've had other events that have had 700 plus more, did they pay 600 or did they pay a substantial amount of money? Because if you're saying I'm sure they use porta potties, and I'm sure that they have, and they had, a lot of times I've come out and they've had other vendors here who had, instead of one vendor for us providing food, they had several. So I'm curious to know just to know so we'll know in the future, if we decide to do this again, we will be coming back. I mean, because we really, really want this corner. We really do.
As far as the information that you just asked for.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Dockery could provide that for you.
Yes, sir. I'll ask her.
First of all, I want to tell you, I think what you're doing is great. I do. The problem I have is putting the expense onto our residents. I'm not stating our residents wouldn't come to it, but when I look at, this is all unbudgeted things that you're wanting us to budget for. So just looking at, the restroom usage, the garbage, the support staff, and when it goes down to support staff, when you have 700 people, you're going to be parking down the side roads, which is going to have to have some kind of traffic control. So there's a lot more that's probably going to go into this. But I'll be honest, I have a very hard time putting this expense onto our residents.
Now, hypothetically, let's say that we pay the money, then what? Are you going to give us a fixed price at $600? Or are you going to have a different amount based on what you're looking at it logistically? Because the $600, I think we can swing that. But because honestly, I really thought it was going to be between $3,000 and $4,000.
I'll be honest, I don't think $600 is realistic for what I've been around here for quite a while, and once you start spending, it just, the price just continues going up. So I would say that's probably not realistic.
Okay. So is that the $600 just for this event, or $600 in terms of previous events? Because that's why I'm curious to know if it was $600 for a previous event, and I know logistically there have been a lot of people here.
Okay.
And because I have attended, and because I was like, I didn't know our little town do these kinds of things. And
Right.
so I know there are a lot of traffic. I do know that when you're parking in certain areas, I did not ever recognize security directing traffic. You just had to make sure you didn't get hit to get across the way. Now, as far as parking on other areas, I'm not privy to that because I've always just parked over in this area.
Got it. Town Attorney, did you have a question?
Through the mayor to the council, I just wanted to, just point out, to sort of emphasize this point. So she's asking for a waiver. That's all she's asking for right now of the fees, but your fees are actually set by the policy that's here. So whatever these fees are that you've been charging 100 other people prior to this point, you would have to apply this same schedule. And it just looks like on the current schedule, there's only one fee, the on-site staff, that appears to be more variable.
Correct.
It's the $30 per person, but all these other fees, to the extent that there's porta potty fees that aren't on here, in all fairness, this is what you're stuck with until you change this policy or waive the policy to actually not, add more costs that other people haven't been paying up to this point. I just want to let you know that the fees are set at this point, so if you don't waive, then like Courtney said, this is usually handled administratively. You would never see this, and people would come and use the park facility as long as they follow the current policy that's in place.
Understand. And to the town attorney, I brought up porta potties because I knew bathrooms needed to be used, and I wasn't sure if they were providing something or if we were going to provide.
But you probably need to. To the mayor, I mean, it looks like some of these costs clearly need to be updated.
Correct, I agree, I agree.
So, yeah, something to work on.
Okay, anybody else have anything?
Yeah, it's kind of easy math, like the counselor was saying, and that, I mean, it's $30 a person per hour. It's 9 hours. If we just said it's 10 to make it simple, that's 300 a day. And then you got, I mean, you can't have enough police officers for 500 people and have 1,500, or else, you know, that sounds like Woodstock or something to me. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it's an extremely noble cause that you have. I support you 150% on what you're trying to accomplish. I really do. I think it's great. But I think, I think it, being the first time that you've done this, there's just a lot of pieces to it, and you're on like number 3 of 100. And I would strongly encourage you to keep going to 100, but I think it's probably too early to make any decisions.
Well, because June 6th is around the corner, and I am sort of stagnant right now because I can't send out official letters until we actually have the place we're going to hold it. Because it's a moot point. If you say no, then we can't do it on June 6th, so then we can't have it. So that's why time is up against us. So that's why we haven't been able to move forward until we know we have the venue. And so that's why we came to present this, because we know that we are a small church. We may have 20 members, faithful members of the church. And out of those faithful members, most of our members are seniors. The church has been there for 153 years. And so a lot of them are seniors. I go visit a lot of them. They're homebound, so we, do communion on the first Sunday. So we're small but mighty, but we do need the help. So that's why we came and asked. And I realized Councilman Taylor saying that we have 100 steps that we need to make, but we can't start moving towards the 100 until we figure the first step.
But it's kind of like the chicken and the egg, you know what I mean? I mean, but we can't commit, well, I can't speak for the rest of the council, but it's difficult, I would think, for the council to make a decision without all those other questions answered.
And the question is, in terms of the pricing, the price or the cost for the staff. And with them saying $600, I mean, we can swing 600, but we were thinking it was going to be in the ballpark of 3,000 to 4,000, which we know we cannot afford. So it's either the 600 as is, or we have to figure out if you will not approve the $3,000 to $4,000, because you're saying that you may have to have extra cost.
No, ma'am, I'm not saying, I'm saying, I'm just looking at this schedule, and which I think are low. I think this is like pre-COVID prices, but that's all I'm saying.
Okay, and I'm a little, I'm not quite understanding what you mean, Councilman Taylor. Are you saying 1,500 people is too many?
No, ma'am, you could have 20,000 would be great with me if you could bring that many in.
Well.
But we have to have enough police officers here to cover the 20,000, is all I'm saying.
So what did they do previously when they had other events, sir?
Well, that's why I'm saying you're on step 3. Maybe it ought to, I'm not a business, I mean, I can't advise you as a business. I'm just trying to help you, but I'm saying maybe it ought to be June 6th of 2027. Might be a better goal for you to get to step 100 and then, and then see where you are, is all I'm saying.
Well, we've been working on it since the beginning of 2025. We wanted to put all the nuts and bolts together. And then when we got down to the actual date, because we wanted to make sure that the date that we utilized would not interfere with other events that are happening, like graduations and weddings and those kinds of things. And June 6th seems like a more of a a feasible time to have it. But we may not, and I don't want to say, because I don't want to downplay how many people, because I'm always a person, I always look positive. I would love to have 700 people to come here that day. Being it's our first event, who knows? We don't know. But my desire is up to 1,500. May not get there, Councilman Taylor.
I think maybe, we've asked some basic questions. We don't want to get into weeds because that's an administrative thing. Let the admin folks take care of it. We're here to either waiver it or not waiver it. Vice Mayor, you had a question?
No, sir, I was just going to say exactly what you did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So if someone is looking to waiver this, you need to step up here, put your 2 cents in, and see where we go.
Mr. Mayor, I have to say that even though I agree with other comments from some of you that our fees schedule that is in current use appears low, just to cover our cost, I am not inclined to waive it. I think this is admirable. I think it's wonderful what you're trying to do and what you're planning to do. I just don't think that the town can afford to waiver that and to waive all the fees. The cost and the burden on the town, which is funded by our taxpayers, as I'm sure you know, is greater than we can bear. And we have a lot of nonprofits in this town already. And maybe you can partner with some of them or partner with businesses to help sponsor and to help with this event. I think it's a marvelous idea. But I think that, like with anyone else, we need to cover our cost.
Okay.
We had one of our nonprofits, I'll gladly say, we had a nonprofit come to us, I think it was last year, that they were going to build a garage space for a new truck that they had, refrigerator truck they had purchased to be able to pick up food for food giveaway. They're a nonprofit, and this is what they do. In fact, they're on this, they rent space, they use space that's town space to do that. They pay all their expenses, though. We couldn't waive their fees for their permitting fees, which is basically what these are to me, permitting type fees that help us cover those costs, not make money, just try to cover as much of our cost as we can. And I just do not think we can afford to do that.
Okay, again, if anyone is looking to support this, speak up. If not, the administrative side and the applicant can work things out. Okay, I don't see.
Do we need a motion?
Yeah, we do, actually, on the item. So we need just an affirmative motion to approve or deny, but we've got to address the request. So they're asking for it, so as it's written here, someone would be making, if you're in favor, you're making a motion to approve. If you're not in favor, you'd be making a motion to deny.
Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
Based on what I just said, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to deny this citizen's request for a waiver of all applicable fees associated with the short-term rental of Town Hall Park for the Community Care Day event that's scheduled for June 6, 2026.
Okay, have a motion on the floor.
A second.
Okay, any other discussion? Town clerk, poll the council.
Can I just ask one question? If
Yes,
the
ma'am.
fees stands at 600, if we pay the fees of the 600, will it still be denied?
We don't get into
Okay.
that part of it.
Okay, who
It's
would
only
I-
coming for us for approval.
Okay.
The town manager
Okay.
would have to work through that with you.
Okay. And how soon do I get in contact with Ms. Dockery to send an email to her asking about the $600?
You can do that immediately.
Okay. And the turnaround, you know the turnaround period?
It should be fairly quickly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Town Clerk, hold the council.
Councilman Taylor?
I lose track of these things. I'm approving the motion that the vice mayor made, so is that
Which
a
is
yay,
to
I guess?
deny.
To deny.
To deny, so
Yes.
yes is a denial.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Councilman Benefield?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sandlin?
Aye.
Councilman Vogel?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Got it.
Thank you for your time.
Got it, thank you. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on to item 6, audience comments, and I have one speaker card. Mr. Bush?
Let me just remind the council, as you deal with these issues in the park here, you affect every business within a quarter-mile radius. In Winn-Dixie, we'd hate to see them go, but they're trying to make money, and so are all these restaurants and places over here. And I have a parking lot that we gladly furnish people to use that. But it does put a big burden on your local businesses that are paying the taxes and for the fire, police, and rescue. So that being said, I'm up here tonight just to bring back to your attention the Johnson Slough project, because we were promised, basically, I thought, Mayor, that you ought to talk about it a meeting to meeting, because time is money. First, let me tell you that in my dealings with the Water Management District, they have serious concerns about the incursions that the contractor has proposed. Those include making too much for recreation and raising the elevations, which vastly impact the wetlands in the area. They've had 15 meetings with these people, with the contractor and their representatives. And this project doesn't seem to be going anywhere fast. And I'm not sure, we've been promised over a year ago that there'd be options, option this, option that. So far, over a year later, we see no options. Either your engineers have failed you or the process has failed you. Please don't let it fail the people that live in Orange Park, who pay the taxes, who want good police, fire, and rescue. And we do not want to see those funds wasted in a manner which is inconsistent with the needs of Orange Park. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bush. Okay, that's all I have for speaker cards. Going to move on to item 7, consent agenda. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Passes 5-0. Okay, going to move on to item 8, new business. Okay. Okay, before we go into the public hearing, this is going to be a public hearing on amending Chapter 14 in regards to standards requirements, and I'll turn it over to Town Manager for any updates.
This is just the second reading and public hearing, so there's nothing to
Okay,
update outside of
got
that.
it. Okay, at this time, do I have a motion for a second reading by title only on ordinance number 01, Tech 26?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for a second reading by title only of ordinance 01-26.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a first and second. Town Clerk, hold the council.
Councilman Vogel?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sandlin?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye.
Councilman Benefield?
Aye.
Councilman Taylor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Okay, Town Clerk, go ahead and read by title only.
An ordinance amending section 14-20, permit required for burials, Article 2, Magnolia Cemetery, Chapter 14, Cemeteries of the Orange Park Town Code regarding standards and requirements for burial vaults and burial containers at Magnolia Cemetery, providing for conflict with other ordinances, providing for severability, providing codification instructions, providing an effective date.
Got it. Thank you, Town Clerk. Okay, at this time, I'm going to open a public hearing. Public hearing now is open. Would anybody like to speak to this? I see no one. Public hearing is now closed. Okay, and I'm going to bring it back to the council.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for approval of ordinance 01-26.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor.
Second.
I have a second. Okay, any discussion? I have some discussion for the town manager. I'm looking for the cost for this concrete liner. How much is this going to increase the burial itself?
Mr. Mayor, I don't have that on the top of my list, as this was brought by the cemetery board. And Ms. Russo, do you have any information on that by chance?
I don't.
We can look into that and come back to you.
Okay, anybody else have any discussion?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
This seems like maybe it's pretty standard
Yes.
in the industry.
Yes.
We're
I was
catching up to the
I
standard.
was very surprised we didn't have the standards already when I got here.
Okay.
Yes.
Which I assume it's the standards. I was just looking at what kind of price increase it was supposed to be.
So Mr. Croce informed me, in your regards to your question on the cost factor, that would be directly related to the applicant's burial cost on their own. So it wouldn't be related to the city's cost.
And that would be it,
Through whoever they utilize
whoever
for
they're
their
going to
service.
utilize.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Okay, sounds good. Okay, any other questions? Okay, I have a motion on the floor and a second. I see no other discussion. Town clerk, call the council.
Mayor Anderson,
Aye.
Councilman Taylor,
Aye.
Councilman Vogel,
Aye.
Councilman Benefield,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sandlin.
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item B, ordinance number 02 tag 26, first reading and discussion only on a comprehensive plan. And I'll turn it over to town manager for any updates.
So this is part of the process to amend our comp plan due to Senate Bill 180 from last year that was implemented. Part of our comp plan fell underneath the purview of that law, which referred to a section of it that being too burdensome and restrictive. And so in order to move forward with the final approval, we have to amend and rewrite the language to meet the requirements of Senate Bill 180. Ultimately, I'll defer to our ECD Director, Stephen Smith, for some further clarity on the requirements on that. But this ultimately goes back to Senate Bill 180 and the state's refusal due to some language that they reviewed, again, as too burdensome and restrictive. So, Mr.
Okay,
Smith.
before we go to Mr. Smith, I'm going to go ahead. Do I have a motion for a first reading by title only on ordinance 02 tag 26?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion for reading by title only of ordinance number 02-26.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a first and second. Town clerk, poll the council.
Councilman Benefield,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sandlin,
Aye.
Councilman Vogel,
Aye.
Mayor Anderson,
Aye.
Councilman Taylor.
Aye.
Passes
Okay,
5-0.
town clerk, please read 02 tag 26 for a first reading by title only.
An ordinance of the Town Council of Orange Park, Florida, relating to an amendment of the text and map series of the 2040 Town of Orange Park Comprehensive Plan based upon an evaluation and appraisal review to update the planning period, reflect changes in state requirements and local conditions, incorporate the water supply facilities work plan, and based on the Florida Commerce objections, recommendations, and comments report, remove objective 2.7, volume 1, goals, objectives, and policies, and the policies relating thereto, all pursuant to the amendment procedures established in sections 163.3161 through 163.3248 Florida statutes, as amended, providing severability and providing an effective date.
Okay, thank you, town clerk. Okay, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Good evening. Stephen Smith, ECD Director. So this is, as Town Manager said, it's really in your packet. You've got Exhibit A, and that's the only thing that's changing. And it's, as he mentioned, it's deleting Exhibit A, which is really something that the council approved, and it's relating to your complete streets that you passed a few years ago in a resolution. And so that's still active. However, this is related to It's really related to Senate Bill 180 that was approved last year by the state legislature, which restricts the county or municipal government's ability to institute more restrictive or burdensome land development or comprehensive plan regulations. And so they deemed this section of the comp plan to be more burdensome on the developer. And so we are simply requesting to execute this change, this amendment to the plan, so that we can then send it back, adopted to the state, addressing their issues.
Okay. See, anybody have any questions for Mr. Smith? No. Okay. Town attorney, are we going to need to make a motion on this?
No, nothing through the mayor to the council.
Okay, just discussion.
That's correct. So
Okay.
you just need to do the first reading.
Yep.
And you did that.
Just did.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Okay, we're going to move right along to item C, approval of a 6-month performance evaluation, and I'll turn it over to the town manager for updates.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In my contract, there states a requirement for a 6-month review of my performance. We do not have a standardized form that we could utilize for that, so the policy committee and I discussed the implementation and development of a review, and that's what you have in front of you. It's a pretty standardized form that largely comes from my professional organization called the ICMA, which is the International City Manager Association. It's kind of the basis for a generalized 6-month review. Obviously, 6 months is, shows competency in basic areas regarding that aspects, as opposed to specific goals set out, which will be done in a different review form. But this is just, again, the results of the policy committee's request that we develop something that can be implemented from whether it's me or whoever may take my position down the road, long time down the road, in that aspect. But this gives us that framework for the 6-month review.
Okay, got it. Anybody have any questions for the town manager?
I have a question.
Actually, go ahead.
Can you tell me what this self-evaluation supported by receipts, what does that mean?
For example, if I claim that I've done something, I need to bring. So when I do my self-evaluation, because again, typically in these situations, I'll evaluate myself and compare it to the council's evaluation to see where I think I'm doing okay, where the council where there may be a discrepancy. But if I make a claim, I have to bring data to back it up.
All right, thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
one follow-up question. Were we, I thought there were talks of, on the scoring, that there would be like an overall matrix of some sort?
As I understand it, that was going to be for the larger,
For a final.
for the final review, as opposed to the 6-month. Was I incorrect in that?
You're correct. There is no type of compensation for the 6 months. It's only at the year.
No, I do agree with you. I just didn't, some people like to say, hey, status quo, trending upward, trending downward, so.
And I think you'll see that in the scores as far as.
Understood.
Okay, no questions for town manager? Okay, do I have a motion for approval?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to accept the town manager's 6-month review evaluation form as recommended by the Special Committee on Policies and Procedures.
Second.
Okay. Any debate? Policy Committee, do you want to put any comments out there, or are you good?
Well, we talked about it at a couple of meetings. Our town manager came back and provided a good format for us that we were satisfied with. What we're hoping and what we'd like is for this to be the initial beginning of what we'll go forward with, and try to base the evaluation on some of the town goals as we do more planning and those kinds of things each year.
Okay. Any other debate?
No, I agree.
Everybody's good?
Gentlemen, did I miss anything?
No, I think this is a light version of
Yes.
what will be the standard.
What will be the standard?
Okay, town clerk, poll the council.
Councilman Vogel?
Aye.
Councilman Taylor?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sandlin?
Aye.
Councilman Benfield?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Okay, gonna move on to 8E, consideration of firms. And I'll turn it over to town manager for an update.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is a response to our request for proposals, our RFP that we went out for civil engineering and surveying firms. We received 4 responses, and then the committee met and graded them and ranked them accordingly. As you can see in the very back page, you can see where the scores are to get you the aspect of how the firms scored. They're all very qualified firms. At this point, we would need a motion to accept the rankings and to begin the negotiation with which would be the top-ranked firm at this point. So ultimately, that's it. Any questions we can certainly direct to the Public Works Director as far as additional questions about the firms and the work that they can provide. But that's all. It's again, accepting the rankings and making a motion to begin the negotiations with the firm that scored the highest.
Okay, got it.
Mr. Mayor? Oh, go ahead.
Any questions for the town manager? Okay, Vice Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to make a motion to move forward, first of all, to accept the rankings of the 4 firms that responded to the RFP and to move forward with negotiating a contract with the top firm.
I'll second the motion.
Any debate? No debate?
No debate.
Okay, town clerk, poll the council.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sandlin?
Aye.
Councilman Benfield?
Aye.
Councilman Vogel?
Aye.
Councilman Taylor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Okay, thank you, town clerk. Going to move on to item 8E, resolution number 07-26, and I'll turn it over to the town manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is to allow us to acquire a potential parcel that currently we have kept and paid the property taxes on from, and it's a wetland property over by the Johnson Slough off of Plainfield. It has a parcel number, doesn't have an actual address listed at this point, but what this does is allow me to go into the auction and partake in that auction to acquire the land for a future site for a lift station. It's pretty much a non-buildable lot outside of the potential use for a lift station future down the road. I don't imagine that it will cost too much. That's why we've limited the amount to the purchasing power within the Public Works Department itself, but I'll be conducting the bidding on the auction. So I have an internal thought on our max price that we would go to, but this just authorizes us to do that. Any additional questions? Mr. Croce is here that can answer specifics about how the property could be used and so forth.
Okay, any questions for the town manager?
Yes, sir. Mr. Manager, how large is this parcel?
Is it a quarter acre? Or is it larger than, what's that? It's close to an acre apparently.
I pulled it up on the property appraiser. It looks like 1.9.
So 2, okay. So my apologies on that.
And I guess the creek runs through it.
Yes.
Through a small.
Yeah, it's a
where
wetland. It's a
where that
swamp,
lady,
primarily.
where that car was parked for a while?
Yes. Somebody
Yeah.
was living there at one
Okay.
point in time.
Thanks.
Councilman Taylor, do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question. I don't really like putting a cap on you for $7,000. I mean, that makes me want to buy it for $7,001 and sell it back to the city for $25. I mean,
I would say
if that's a suitable location that we've identified, I think I will.
Keep in mind, you went through ethics training.
Correct.
It's a public hearing, though.
Well,
If somebody watches is going to think of it, I mean, I'm not the first one. I mean, can we lift that cap?
you can, I mean, technically you can do what you want. It's just a matter of, it's an imposed limit on our own to the value of the land and there and below. So that was my suggestion, that we set the cap there. Again, it's a wetland, it's a swamp, it's non-buildable from that standpoint. I understand what you're saying.
But it's perfect for a wastewater, whatever we call it. It's perfect for us to build a wastewater lift station. How many of those are around?
We have 25.
I mean, future ones. None. Yeah, it's worth more than $7,000 to the town of Arlington. To me, it is.
So, I mean, you can certainly do that, but
I mean, my way of thinking is that if we cap it, somebody's going to outbid us. And if we don't cap it, then they'll let us have it. That's how I look at these things. But, so I'd rather not see a cap really at all and just leave it in your, I mean, if you want a cap, my cap would be 25,000. Which I don't think you would hit.
But you're right, that would be a spending limit anyway.
Yes. But for 25,000, we could probably find another place. For 8,000, we probably couldn't, would be my point. Do you think? Or, maybe this is a question better for our
Make a motion.
public. So my motion would be to approve Resolution 0726 with an amending the purchase price shall not exceed 25,000.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, I have a first and second. Any discussion? Vice Mayor, you had a question prior to the motion?
No.
No? Okay. I've got a question for the town manager. Did a realtor give us this ballpark for a price, or how did we come up with that? Just to,
The appraised value is approximately 1,400. And so that's why I set the cap at 7 was, the appraised value in that aspect on the assessor website is about 1,400. And we've paid the taxes at that point, and they're, again, they're very minimal.
got it. So if we did not purchase this piece of property, where would we put this lift station?
Would you like to answer that?
Mr. Mayor and Council, Kyle Croce, Public Works Director. So I think we would work with the attorney on some different options and ways to get land for the lift station. There'd be other options.
Okay. Any other debate? Any questions?
Mr. Mayor, I do understand the premise of a bidding war, but I also lean towards the expertise and guidance of what they've researched as well. So I would assume all of this is not necessarily, I mean, is it in, did we budget this? Did we, right? So what I'm saying is I don't want to just give willy-nilly and just throw money out there. So we've hired him for a reason. There's been research for a reason. We've paid the taxes on it. We should have a very good pulse on where we're at. So, but I do understand what Mr. Taylor's saying. But that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
May I ask our attorney a question?
Sure.
If we vote, if this is a nay vote based on the spending limit that's been proposed, that's in the motion, that means we're not going to bid on this property, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Through the vice mayor to the council. I think that's why your town manager's coming to you to get some authority, A, to acquire, and B, I think it's a finance question. So really quickly to Councilmember Taylor's proposition, you typically would not have an open-ended, uncapped, because what if you went out and gave $1 million? That would bother you, I would suspect. So it's good to have a cap, and that was my counsel to him. But what that number is up to you. 50,000, 25,000, it's up to you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
I'm conflicted as well. It's a weird spot to be in. Hey, we're gonna spend $7,000, somebody shows up and spends $7,100. But we do still have levers on the town manager's evaluation, so if you said it's worth 7 and you spent 25, because we authorized 25, I think you'd probably hear about it. I guess we approved it, but we might not like that outcome.
I'm just gonna give my thoughts. I think 25 is too high, but then I look, this is instrumental with putting a lift station in for, 46 houses? Yeah. So in my eyes, it's something that we need. But at the same time, and this is gonna be a public auction, correct?
Correct.
So it's, I'm supporting it because we need it. Let's put it that way.
And I'll be shocked if it goes for that much. But I think it would, in my opinion, it will eliminate anybody doing it at all. And it'll probably go for $1,400 by having the cap of the 25,000. I think if it's a cap of 7,000, I think it substantially increases the possibility of 7,001 because the town needs it. So that's my reasoning behind this. But whatever y'all vote on, I yield to the vote.
Got it. This is for the town manager. Got a quick question. We own the tax certificate. Does that give us any extra leverage here?
No.
Versus that we've paid the taxes? So if someone else was to purchase it, they would have to come back and buy the tax certificate from us. Is that correct?
I would defer to legal on that.
What I do know, and we did do some research on this, Courtney, but it was like a year ago.
I believe I had to give up everything we had, because I think when I did the tax deed certificate, I think I had to give up everything we had in order to trigger the auction. So right now, we really are no different than
Any other bidder.
the next.
Right, that's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Okay. Right. Any other debate? I have a motion, I have a second on the floor. Town clerk, poll the council.
Councilman Taylor?
Aye.
Councilman Benefield?
Aye.
Mayor Anderson?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Sandlin?
Aye.
Councilman Vogel?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Okay, we're going to move on to item 9, reports and comments, town manager's report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'll just go through a slew of things here, no pun intended, but first thing is Johnson Slough, as we had updated before. I had requested additional proposals and possible redesign costs, et cetera, for Johnson Slough. We are still waiting for those. I would assume that we would get them fairly soon. They had mentioned that it would take about 2 weeks to get, but I thought at the time that was a little ambitious, and turns out I was right. So we're still waiting on that. As soon as I get them, obviously, I'll be sure to pass those on. Some RFP updates. RFP for the HR. We reconvene for the selection committee on the 12th to review the individual committee member rankings and to provide a recommendation if there is one determined for council's consideration. The reason for the extended time period is we received 9 RFPs for HR services, all a variety, but they're pretty extensive and pretty thick, so we needed to make sure that the committee had enough time to wade through those accordingly and score them as that aspect. We did receive a response back for the RFP for the pickup truck the pickup trucks that we had sent back. Unfortunately, they did come back higher than the previous estimate in that aspect. So we're examining those and its viability and whether we can still utilize a piggyback request and whatnot. But that one did come back. I believe it was 4,800 higher, roughly, for the total of the 3 of those. But we, again, we did go to RFP on that, and we're going to try to figure out if that's the best option moving forward. So, was in Tallahassee a week ago today at the Florida League of Cities Legislative Day. was a pretty whirlwind day. It was also the largest delegation at legislative days for the league, according to their numbers. We didn't get a chance to have as many one-on-ones with our representatives as I wanted. We did speak between legislative aides and multiple other members expressing some concerns that we have with some upcoming legislation. Just so you guys understand, there's been approximately 1,700 bills introduced this year so far in the Florida legislature. 500 of those are directed at local government. In some capacity or another. And some of those are restrictive and enhancements and stuff like that. But obviously, we know the biggest one is a potential for property tax reform. And we're rolling into budget season, and staff has been made aware that is to be on their priority as we move forward with budgeting. So we look at revenue restrictions, we look at all of those things coming down the pipe. Those are some big ones, but yeah, there's about 500 of them that are working their way through. One of those, ironically, happens to be a bill that the original author of Senate Bill 180 wrote previously. That is why we are amending our comp plan, and he's written a bill basically rescinding that language, but it's going through the process and things like that. But those are some of the bills that we're looking at and have some pretty big impact on localized government in that aspect. As I said, budget season's here. So John and I meet this Friday to kind of kick off our budget season here to spoke. We're going to have a couple hour meetings starting to set timetables and expectations for what my expectations for departments are going to be. And we understand it's going to be a challenging budget year. That's without question. Every year is challenging, but especially with the fiscal constraints in the previous year that we've had in that manner, costs go up. And as we know, we're landlocked, so population doesn't go up. So we have to, evaluate all of those on a yearly basis. Continuing to conduct meetings with town residents, stakeholders, and so forth. This weekend, I'm meeting with an Eagle Scout to discuss potential ideas for his final Eagle Scout project. And there's also an event this weekend at the T.C. Miller House, hosted by the Historical Society from 11 o'clock. That's going to be discussing the building's namesake, Teresa Miller. There's going to be a presentation on her history in the town, as well as multiple stories that are going to be shared about the notable African-American families in Orange Park. This is a free event to the community, so I encourage everyone. I'm going to be there. That should be enough anyway, but it's going to be a great event put on, and again, it's free, and there's going to be some refreshments available after the fact. But the last thing is, or not last thing, but Clay Days in Tallahassee is coming up on the 18th, 19th of this month to go and support Clay County. I'll be there. I know many of our council members will be there as well. That's a big day for us to focus on what the county has and what they need, as well as the communities within that. So anyone who would like to go or participate, I encourage you to do so. We have procurement training coming up on the 12th of February for all of staff. That's coming up. That's another lunch and learn situation, one of a series of about 4 or 5 trainings that I'm trying to implement just to get some consistency across the board and understanding on those type of things. And the last item is that I was accepted into the Leadership Clay Academy put on through the chamber. I begin those classes on the 17th of this month. It happens on the 3rd Tuesday of the month, ironically, with our meetings, but that one starts up here on the 17th, and I'll complete that class by the end of fall of 26. So that's what I have.
Got it. Thank you. Town Attorney.
Well, I was through the mayor to the council. I was going to talk about the training, but Joe covered that, so I'm excited to do that. Thank you, Courtney, for putting that together, and congratulations on Clay Leadership. It's a great program. That's all I got. Good night.
Thank you. Okay. Council member reports. Councilman Vogel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will say it was cold. It was cold for sure, but hopefully all of you bundled up and loved on your friends and neighbors and stayed warm. There were a lot of pipe issues, a lot of air conditioning heater issues, but we made it through. I think we're on the up and up, and farmers market got them again. They're going to come back bigger and stronger than ever. Clay Days, looking forward to that, and I think I enjoyed the policies and procedures committee. I think a lot of good things are coming out of that, and I think really just overall good communication and openness and questions being answered. So it was really good to see this happening. But other than that, stay warm, stay safe.
Got it.
To the next one.
Thank you. Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As always, thank you to all of you who are here tonight, and particularly and including those who joined online and are online. We thank you for being a part of this process. I had the privilege of going to Florida League of City Days with our town manager last week, and it was a busy day. The Capitol was very, very full, and it was very, very cold. So it was a whirlwind day. He's very right about that. I want to talk about some local things, however, and that is that there are 2 new businesses in our town that are having grand openings this week. The first grand opening is on February the 5th at 11:30 a.m. for a company by the name of Embrace Beauty Lounge, and they're at 1842 Park Avenue, just right on the other side of the Winn-Dixie, on this side of the road. The second is on February 6th at 11:30 a.m. for the Cuban Place, and they're at 2134 Park Avenue in the shopping center right across the road. And so I hope that you will join me in welcoming these new businesses to our community, and that means that you shop with them for the services that they provide. As the mayor says, shop local, because we want them to remain as successful businesses in our town for years to come. And I hope you'll go by and welcome them and visit them. Mr. Taylor's already talked about the event this coming Saturday that the Orange Park Historical Society is doing. Our own Miss Betty Dimmons, who's in the audience, is going to be one of the speakers Saturday. We're really excited and so thrilled that she's willing to do this and talk about that history. And so please, if you can, come out. Just as an aside, Ms. Dimmons told us at the Culture and Recreation Committee last week that this coming Saturday, February the 7th, would have been the 116th birthday of Teresa Miller, for whom that T.C. Miller Center is named. So it'll be a special day. Also on February 28th, the Historical Society it has an event at Magnolia Cemetery, and between 2 and 4 p.m. Visitors to the cemetery are going to be given guided tours, and we'll walk through the cemetery and learn about folks from Orange Park's past. I did this last year. I think this year again there will be people present at various grave sites who are talking about their ancestors and their stories. And I want to encourage everyone to come. I want to encourage you to participate, take that walk. Hopefully it won't be as cold as it's been, and listen to these stories and about families and about people who lived here and loved this community. We have a rich history in this little town, and I like the idea of honoring those who came before us, because they helped make it possible for you and me to live here and to love this community as we do today. And lastly, happy Valentine's Day, because I won't see most of you again before that day. So happy Valentine's Day this month. And that's all.
Got it, thank you. Councilman Benfield.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you to you guys for showing up. Police, fire, Public Works, you guys keep it running around here.
tell ya.
Thank you. ECDC has a meeting on Thursday at 4:30. Probably like a kickoff of what's next, and then also revisiting the micro grant. That's all I got.
Councilman Taylor.
Thank you, Mayor. And I'd just like to thank everybody too also for coming today and for watching. All I have is Clay Day in Tallahassee. I think the whole council's coming, or just about everybody, and hopefully you can too, to represent us. They're really looking for y'all more than for us, so hope to see you there. Thank you, Mayor.
Got it, thank you. I'd like to say thank you for coming out to tonight's meeting. Also, February is Black History Month. And highly recommend, I mean, we have, like the Vice Mayor said, tons of history within our town. I also did the cemetery history last year, and it was great. So I highly recommend anyone to go to that, everyone. Other than that, again, thank you, and I will just kind of toot the town manager's horn here. I'm seeing some good changes, so you're on track and things are good. So with that being said, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say